Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, I'm going to be reviewing a Toyota 4Runner TRD Pro, and we're going to talk about how the resale value of these 4Runners is just plain stupid. It's crazy. Before we get into this video, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to the Larry Miller Chevy here in Provo for giving me some time with this 4Runner. I'll include a link to their website in the description down below. Also include a link to my car buying guide. Let's get into it. So powering the 4Runner is a 4-liter V6 that goes through a 5-speed automatic transmission. It puts out 270 horsepower and then 278 pound-feet of torque. Not the most exciting powertrain on the planet, but it's very reliable. Before we move forward with this review, I do want to mention if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. So I picked out a TRD Pro because although all 4Runners have good resale value, the TRD Pros have especially good resale value that is just plain stupid. So let's talk about some of the things that make the TRD Pro special. First off, you got the Heritage Toyota logo there on the front, which is pretty cool looking. You got a fake hood scoop. And then you guys can see with everything's kind of like darker trim wise, you got the better approach angle with the front bumper. We also have a TRD skid plate there at the bottom here. We'll kind of zoom in on that. So you've got a little bit more protection. You've got beefier tires with these TRD wheels, which is another cool part about the Pro. You've got a roof rack from the factory with the Pro. So the Pro does have a cool look because of that. And then you do get special suspension. You're not really going to be able to see it, but you get Fox shocks and all of that with the Pro. Of course, TRD Pro badging there. You got the exhaust tip that pokes out the sides all blacked out, more Pro badging, and being a 4Runner, we've got a ton of storage space here in the rear, which is nice. Not power, by the way, even on this expensive model. And then the Pro gets the cooler interior, so you got like red stitching throughout with the Softex, which is nice, and all the windows are automatic, which is pretty cool. Blind spot warning with the mirrors. And the seats are also Softex. Easy to clean with that. A lot of the stuff I'm showing you inside, though, you can get in a TRD off-road, by the way. And you can see the mileage. Oh, of course it went away. It's like 36,000. It'll pop up again in a second. Yeah, there you go. 36,000 miles on the odometer with this one. And I like the handle here to close the door. It feels nice and sturdy. You also get a 360 camera system with the Pro. And you can see you get a loaded up 4Runner, so you get dual zone climate. You got this carbon fiber trim throughout. All the 4Runners have the cool rear sliding window, which is a nice feature. And then the Pro also has a sunroof, and then we've got a bunch of off-road tech up top. So basically, you've got your rear locking differential, the A-track set up. You've got your multi-terrain select crawl control. I don't know if it's not gonna pop up on camera. It's a little bit too bright. So you basically get a TRD off-road premium with the Pro. Plus you get the Fox shocks and the roof rack and a little bit different looks, but it's basically a TRD off-road premium with a little bit more. Now, brand new, this would have been in the mid $50,000 range for the MSRP, and today it is still over $50,000 as a used car. Again, 2022. We're getting into the 2025 model year. This has over 30,000 miles, and that is the crazy thing about these TRD Pro 4Runners is they just don't lose value. And considering the fact that the modern Toyotas, with the new turbocharged engine, are even more unreliable than Toyota has probably ever seen in their past, these are probably going to hold their value just like what the Tundras have been doing so far. But anyways, let's take it out and drive it. Now let's quickly take a look at visibility before we set off. Here's your visibility of the hood, both the mirrors, there's the rear. It's pretty good in the 4Runner. Not the best on the planet, but pretty solid nonetheless. So, I wanted to do a review on this. I'm actually going to be reviewing a Tacoma today as well. Because Toyota's about to come out with the new 4Runner, and I'm sure we're going to see a lot of these traded in, right? You've got the Toyota cultists that will just buy whatever new Toyota comes out. And so, yeah, I figured I'd talk about this and talk about my take on the modern Toyotas, because I've reviewed quite a few of them, and So I've got some opinions on them. Now, first off, this generation of TRD Pro is so cool. It's just, you know, it's got some modern stuff, right? The traction control system is a more modern system, and it's got independent front suspension. That's kind of more modern technology, but you know, this does have a lot of old school truck stuff, and it kind of drives like an old school truck. Now the Fox shocks do make it a little bit squishier with the suspension, but yeah, it's still very, very truck-like, and it sounds pretty cool with the exhaust that they put on these. Now, this is not known for power. Never has been, never will be. But it's got enough to get you around. But yeah, this is a car where there are times where you will get annoyed with the lack of power. That was definitely me when my wife and I owned one of these. I mean, just like around town driving, you feel like you have to kind of get into it just to get up and move a little bit. It's not fast, not known for its speed at all. So a lot of people supercharge these. But yeah, it rides well and road noise is pretty good. One of the takes that I have on the 4Runner is, I mean, you could go either way. Is the 4Runner is kind of like a crappy Land Cruiser, or you could say the Land Cruiser is like a really good, oh, they're gonna hit into that person. No, they're not. Yes, they are. No, they're not. Anyways, Provo. Or you could say that the Land Cruiser is like a really nice dressed up 4Runner, because my wife and I have a Land Cruiser and it drives so much better than the 4Runner. It's crazy. But yeah, you gotta really get into it to get it to move. But again, that's the price you pay for reliability. This is an engine that will never let you down. It is such a good powertrain. And the rest of the cars, you know, these 4Runners aren't perfect, but the rest of the car's pretty good. They seem to hold up pretty well, the interiors and everything. I mean, this, you know, after 36,000 miles, looks pretty much like a brand new one inside. So they do a good job. And again, it's got shifter on the floor for four-wheel drive. It really is very trucky because it's a truck. So my personal take on these, I think they drive really well. I think that as long as you're okay with the lack of acceleration, it's a great car. You just have to kind of have a more chilled, laid back driving experience where you're okay with not being in the fast lane all the time. You're okay with having to wait a little bit longer to take turns, because merging into traffic's not always the easiest with this. So that's just something to take into consideration. The new stuff, yeah, the new stuff has more tech. It's quicker, especially, you know, if you get a 4Runner TRD Pro that's got that new iForce Max with 326 horsepower, 465 pound-feet of torque. That thing's zippy, but you lose the reliability. Just look at the technology, right? This is, in my opinion, one of the biggest leaps that I think we've ever seen Toyota make, and I think that's why Toyota's struggling so much. This car right now has an old school 5-speed automatic and a 4-liter V6 naturally aspirated. So this has like one of the most old school transmissions and old school engines. And so you think that Toyota would make, you know, because Toyota's known for being conservative, you think they make a gradual leap, like go from this to maybe they'll do like a modern 8-speed automatic with the 4-liter V6, which that, by the way, would do so well. And then maybe they'll add a, you know, a hybrid to that. All right, still have the 4-liter V6, 8-speed, and then a hybrid. No, instead they go 4-cylinder, turbocharged, hybrid, 8. They do all of it at once. And because they did all of it at once, right, they fell into exactly what they tried to avoid, which is too much change at once, which causes too many problems, right? So my personal take is, if I owned one of these, which I own, you know, I own a 200 series Land Cruiser, and you know, we had a few problems with that. We got it fixed though, got it fixed. But yeah, so if I owned one of these, I would just keep it. I would just keep it and wait for Toyota to figure their lives out with their new technology. And then once enough time has gone by to where, make sure this person can get in and out. Once enough time has gone by, where's the camera button, by the way? Why have I forgotten? I swear it was like, maybe it's on the other side with these. Oh yeah, I've reviewed too many cars today. But yeah, as I was saying, is I would just wait it out. I would just see what happens if Toyota figures out the reliability. You don't want to be a first-year test dummy, right? I don't think that's worth it, especially if it's your daily driver. Like, I've already heard the stories of people will buy these modern Toyotas and then they're left stranded. And then after they get it to the dealership, then they're left in a situation where they've got to drive a rental car for 2-3 months while they wait for a new engine, wait for a new transmission, sometimes even longer. So, I don't know. If you want to risk it, you can, but I don't think I'd risk it. I think because you can get 300, 400, 500,000 miles out of this easily, if you have one that is relatively new that is nowhere near that mileage range, I would just keep rocking it, because it's not like the resale value is going to go down all that much, and you can get a ton. It's not like the car is going to break on you, because these things are just pretty much indestructible. So I would just ride it out, wait for Toyota to figure themselves out, fix their new car, and then maybe consider it down the road. But I'm still, I don't know, I'm not sold on Toyota's new route. I think they should have gone for, and I know a lot of people will agree with me in the comment section, of course, I think they should have done what they did with their more affordable hybrids like the Prius and stuff. The Prius has, I'm not saying they should put a CVT in this, by the way. The Prius has, you know, they went from 4 cylinders with those cars like that to 4-cylinder hybrid with an eCVT. So it's still a naturally aspirated engine, but it's got a more complex powertrain because it's a hybrid. That's what they should have done with this, is, you know, again, upgraded the transmission to a more modern transmission that would increase fuel economy, that would make that's what Nissan did with the Frontier, for goodness sakes, and that thing's doing really well. And then just add a hybrid to it, and that'll increase the fuel economy. It'll still have the reliable engine, and if something happens to the stupid battery or whatever with the hybrid system, you still have a 4-liter V6 that can survive. Whereas with the new stuff, it's like if the hybrid system goes out, then you're left with a turbo 4-cylinder that's gonna blow up itself. So that's all.